Welcome to the double black belt level, what we call empowered advocate. And if you've worked your way through this, this is our subset. The overall program is called AI Mastery, and this program specifically is Chat GPT Mastery. And if you've made it this far, congratulations. I want you to understand that you're in the top use of ChatGPT. You've gone through from the overwhelmed observer or white belt. I won't re-walk you through the journey because I know you've walked through it with me. But basically, you've gone from never using ChatGPT, not really clear what it is, where to start, and we've slowly at each level built a little bit of confidence. And by now, you are at the top tier in our ChatGPT Mastery program. Now, like most martial arts, I want you to understand that this is the beginning, not the end. And what I mean by that, in traditional martial arts, I've been told a story, and I don't have providence of it, but I believe it. Basically, the idea is the white belt is where we start. And as we work up our levels and we earn our black belt is a symbol of ending one journey and beginning another. And the cool part is if you use a black belt and you wear it and you keep practicing and training, over time that black belt will fade to white, which represents the new beginning. So up till now, you've mastered learning how to use ChatGPT yourself. You've got a pretty good handle on teaching others how to master using ChatGPT, and you should be starting to get to the point where you're pretty confident in optimizing what you do with ChatGPT and innovating with ChatGPT. But this is the level where we pull it all together, and I would argue I needed to go through all of the belts to get to the point where I am today. And so I've built the black belt program from start to finish based on the next stage. So I've learned all the foundation, all the fundamentals, and I hope you have as well. This is about mastery and confidence, not speed, not moving ahead just to move ahead. Basically, at this level, we're now in the uncharted territory of what's next. And I honestly don't know what's next for me in my AI journey, but I do know it's going to be exciting, and I'm curious, and I can't wait for it to arrive. Now, full disclosure, I have probably mastered everything I could possibly learn to date using just ChatGPT. I can say with confidence, I know how to build systems. I can create SOPs. I'm really confident in building custom GPTs. And I'm equally confident in teaching others how to use them and building stuff with them and innovating and creating. Right now, I'm at the point where I'm building frameworks and models. Personally, I think the next step for me is getting better and better at innovating. And I think my next adventure, well, I know my next adventure is going to include building private LLMs for others. I also build custom GPTs for others. It's fun, customized work, and it allows me to practice my skills. So hopefully you're like me. At this point, you're excited about what's ahead of you, you're happy about what's behind you, and you're ready to dive in. So the empowered advocate, this is the stage where I'm going to turn you loose in the world. And you might be saying to yourself, others need this too. I can be their guide. Now, I use the word lighthouse, and what I truly believe, Pharos, is the Greek word. It's based on the Greek word for lighthouse, and it's the original lighthouse at Alexandria. So I don't believe I'm put on this earth to tell others what to do, but as the lighthouse, as the guide, I'm here to help people navigate their own paths and just shine a light so that they can get to shore safely. And I hope if you've made it this far, you also want to help others. And this is truly my mission. So I built the digital dojo, not so that I could brag about how much I know about ChatGPT, But basically, I wanted to help others catch up so that I can slingshot them forward and they can do more, bigger, better things because of it. So the insight for the double black belt is that legacy is built through teaching others the path you mastered. Now, I promise you, I gave you the path that I believe you should follow, and I fully expect that you are going to make that path your own. So you have unique skills and abilities that you bring to the conversation that I don't have. And that's great because now you can use the foundation. And I invite people at this level, you're invited to be an instructor in the digital dojo. You can bring people in, you can license our materials, you can follow the courses, and you can tailor it for what you want to do. Use the framework that I've built as a guideline and make it your own. Now, for clarity, your personal journey becomes a model for industry transformation. So whatever industry you're in, I've given you the general skills, and I would expect that you will, you may not want to, but if you do, you will, create the standard for your industry and cause complete total transformation. As an example, I love the accounting profession, and my number one belief is that the health of the accounting profession, it's the canary in the coal mine. It tells us the health of the business world at large. And so my personal belief, and the reason I work with a lot of accountants, is if I can help an accountant be more successful, work less, have a better balance, be more balanced, be more excited about what they do, that will spread to so many businesses. And that's how I believe we can make the world a better place. If we have better, well-run accounting firms, we can have better, well-run businesses. So that's why I work with accountants. That is the root of change. I believe accountants are at an incredibly exciting opportunity. We're at a crossroads, and we can continue forward fighting for dwindling share of compliance, or we can find new and better ways to serve our clients through advisory. And the growth mindset here is we want you to shift your focus from the work that you do to multiplying the mastery of others in the field of the work that you do. So we're either going to, if you're an accountant, you're going to help other accountants do better, or you're going to help your clients do better. But I believe if you've got the confidence to this point, you have the tools you need to truly guide your clients forward. And what I hope to hear from you is I've scaled my work. Now it's time to scale my impact. And believe it or not, you've heard me talk a lot about a lot of things. The whole point of the Pharaoh's Digital Dojo was that I didn't want my lessons to end with me. I want to help other people, and I truly believe this is the shortest and most leveraged path for me. So welcome to the double black belt. And here we have taken you on a long journey, and you are now officially an empowered advocate. And this is where you're going to start building your legacy. So you've mastered your business, you've mastered your mindset, you've got the confidence to move forward. And now we're going from personal gain, how do I even, earn more in revenue, to multiplying our mastery and defining the future of an industry. So I personally believe there is a lot of noise out there, a lot of people claiming to be thought leaders. And I got really tired of how can I, as one person, fight the noise? And you may have heard it called AI slop. Yes, there is such a thing. My goal is I can't fight the darkness, but I can help people find the light. So my legacy is I want to help as many people as possible. I have actual metrics for that, but basically I want to help people scale their impact so that the world is a better place because more people are shining their light in the world. So just to recap our core objectives before we jump in. For insight, legacy is built through teaching others the path you have mastered. And yes, you will make it your own, and I applaud you. use my foundational skills, the things I've taught you, as a guide, not as a rule. For clarity, your personal journey becomes a model for industry transformation and growth. Shift your focus from your work to multiplying the mastery of others. And really, truly, it's going to sound a little cliche, but there's no greater joy to me than watching others have that aha moment where they realize they can help others at a high level. So we've really gone from survival, now we're into mastery. So the first badge we are going to talk about, as always, and I'm excited, this is the mindset badge. And here we're going to cover what I think you need to adopt for beliefs and awareness. And the core focus of the double black belt is that legacy is built through teaching others the path you master. Now, full disclosure, I don't expect that everybody believes this, and I don't expect that everybody wants to go down this path. However, this is the path I am on. This is the path that resonates with me. So I want to help support anyone else who has that same belief and wants to be on that path with me. Now, the beautiful thing, and I really, really sincerely mean this, at this point, you go from becoming the student. You are no longer the student. You are now the master, and you are going to guide others towards that mastery. And you get to walk the path with me as a colleague and a peer, not in a master-student sort of scenario. So I'm excited because this marks a drastic change in our relationship. You're no longer looking to me for the answers. We're now sharing our philosophies and helping one another grow. So the insight here is we're going to internalize the concept of the lighthouse leader. It is a philosophy, and I truly believe, I don't even think of myself as a lighthouse. I think of myself as a lighthouse keeper. My job is to help others shine their light in the world, and by doing so, the world is a better place for it. So the beautiful thing you will start to see is that your role is no longer about doing the day-to-day work. You're no longer grinding away trying to do things. You're eliminating the path for the next generation of masters. And I do believe J. Abraham has a quote that if you truly believe you can help others, you have a moral obligation to do so. I believe that sincerely. So my moral obligation is to help others pursue mastery themselves and then teach others how to master. Now, as a reminder, for mastery, what we cover is you have to learn the skills yourself. You have to be able to teach the skills to others to help them master it. And then you need to optimize. So the third step is optimize and innovate. So at this point, you're off the stated path, and really truly celebrate. Your mission here is to go explore and create new paths. So for clarity, we focus on the mastery thesis. And here at this point, you're going to articulate the single biggest lesson you've learned on your journey, from overwhelmed observer all the way up to inspired innovator and up to the double black belt. And basically what you're going to do is distill your experience into a core transferable belief system or set of principles. Now, this is not mandatory, this is suggested. And basically, the reason I suggest it is I think we're all smarter when we work together, when we collaborate. And so basically, the whole point of your mastery thesis is to identify what was unique about your journey and build from there to help others follow your path. So again, I have zero ego in this. I'm not approaching this as I'm the expert, you'll do what I say. At this point, I'm saying, what did you learn and what would you like to teach others? And the growth mindset here is we all want to become, or should aspire to be, perpetual mentors. So I ask my double black belts, if you want to hang out and sharpen your skills with me, you have to commit to mentoring at least one student, preferably a white belt or yellow belt, through challenges, documenting the student's transformation as a direct result of your guidance. So basically, what we're doing here is we're working with lower belt levels. And in a perfect world, you'd work with somebody at any belt level and all belt levels. But the idea is we're practicing. And this might seem a little bit altruistic for you. It might feel like we're giving too much. But the reality is, I'll remind you, our digital dojo, we have a $1,000 a month investment for our black belt and double black belt. The reason it doesn't go up, even though we know your return on investment will go up, is we're asking you to contribute back to the community and help others. Now, that might feel a little like a restriction. The reason we did it is more for you than for us. And what I mean by that is to have mastered something. Congratulations, you are smart. I love that and I applaud you. However, to truly master something, we need to understand what the weak spots in our logic are, the blind spots, the areas we can't fill in. And this is where a true beginner's mind, for example, a white belt, they're going to ask you questions and they're going to challenge your biases, your beliefs, your assumptions. And I promise you, if you approach it from the mindset of what can I learn, your white belts will teach you almost as much as I can. In fact, in some cases, they'll teach you more. So that is the mindset badge. And basically, we're renewing the beginner's mindset. There's an old Chinese proverb about a student and a master sit down and the master is pouring tea and the student has basically said, I know everything I need to know. And the master keeps pouring tea until it's spilling all over. And the student says, Master, my cup is running over, please stop. And the master reminds the student that we can't put more into a full container. So part of being a double black belt is embracing that we know we don't know everything, and we want to find out what we need to know to finish our training. And if somebody's really deeply curious, I have a plan in place to get from double black belt all the way to a 9th degree. No rush. And honestly, I can't wait to write individual sections of that. But I believe that is the rest of my life, my time on Earth, will be completing the next stages and guiding people to join me at those stages. All right, number 2 is the skill set badge. And by now, this should not feel foreign to you. Here we're learning tools and technique to guide us forward. And the core focus here is that your personal journey becomes a model for industry transformation. And this is where we're innovating. This is where we're optimizing. I don't care what industry you're in, what area you have expertise in. I guarantee there's friction, there's ineffectiveness, inefficiency in said industry. And basically, what I challenge my black belts and above to is to dedicate your lives to eradicating friction, ineffectiveness, inefficiency. So here, our goal is to understand that proprietary frameworks are the highest form of intellectual property. And it is an incredible skill to package your methodology into a branded, marketable educational system. Now, the key here is that it's got to be educational and it also has to be entertaining. A lot of people specifically say educational and entertaining. I assume if it's going to be educational, it has to be entertaining. And the other thing is it has to add value. So we're not just here to regurgitate what everybody else is. We're not going to follow the herd and just say this is what it is. What we're looking for is actual, genuine, legitimate solutions to industry problems. So I don't care what industry you're in, I guarantee there are some problems that you personally are uniquely qualified to solve. Now, the great news is we live on a planet where humans are always coming up with new things and new problems. So as long as you develop the skills, you'll be comfortable going forward, creating frameworks to solve new problems. Now, I wish I could remember where I heard this, but a lot of people in the marketing world, they're looking for what's the latest, greatest gimmick. And one of my marketing mentors said that the number one skill is to identify what never changes, what are the constants. And if you do that, you will have a stable business because you're solving constant human issues rather than looking for the latest and greatest thing. So we will build proprietary frameworks. We will support one another as we do it. We will test them. And really, this is how do we advance and truly live the life of a thought leader. Now, for clarity, we have our Digital Dojo blueprint. And you are going to create for your product, whatever it is, whatever industry you work in, you're going to create your own clean, comprehensive visual blueprint or flow chart of your 10-stage mastery journey. Now, I've picked the 10 stages for a very deliberate, intentional reason. You may wish to have different numbers. That's okay. I'm not here to argue. But basically, if you follow the Pharos Dojo as your blueprint, you will end up with a 10-stage mastery journey. And the goal is you're going to break down mastery piece by piece, as I did with the custom GPT mastery, and break it down into 10 stages so that somebody can build their confidence and grow in that space. And basically, you want to take somebody from the problem state where they are today to the empowered future state where you wish them to be. And I will teach some of the behind the scenes stuff. I hope by now you've experienced what we mean by the Digital Dojo. I hope you have seen how we do things, but I will specifically point them out. And it's really fun when you've experienced the growth model and then you start to study the growth model, a lot of it becomes clearer. And for the record, there's stuff that I teach you that you need to know, but I teach you by showing you rather than specifically calling it out. When we look at your blueprint, our goal is to make it very, very clear. And I will show you how to build a blueprint around your knowledge. Now, in the growth phase, we build signature frameworks. I have custom GPTs to help you with every step of this journey. And the goal is to create and launch a publicly available mini course. I have a series of products we create, things like initial assessments, webinars to educate people, master classes to learn the theory, workshops to apply the theory, and of course, in marketing language, free lead magnets to teach core components of your signature framework. So early on, we talked about our 5P model for prompting. You're going to have the basics that you would teach a beginner audience. Now, this is a lot to cover and a lot of practice will go into this, but the key to a framework or a blueprint, if you're going to build a dojo-like blueprint, is you need to know exactly who your audience is. So you're getting clear on who your avatar is, or by now you should be referring to them as perfect prospect personas. And we're going to meet them exactly where they are today. What problems do they have? And then we're going to guide them towards the future aspirational, I call it the ideal state. Where do they need to be? Where do they want to be? And basically our job is to guide them from novice to experienced or expert. Okay, for the gear set badge, here we're going to really focus on systems and flow. And the core focus here is building a platform for thought leadership and content distribution. Now, for the record, I want to be clear. I am not telling you to claim the title of thought leadership. I am telling you to walk the path of thought leadership. What that means, and you choose whether you walk the path or not, but to truly be a thought leader, you have to have your own original thoughts on a topic, and you need to be willing to guide others forward. So sometimes I'm a thought follower. I have certain people I follow and I learn from them. And then I take what I learn and I distill it into my own unique patterns and approach. And then I can contribute more back to that industry. So if you want to be a thought leader, you can't claim the title and say, hey, everybody, I'm a thought leader. What you need to do is actually innovate and create, and people will follow you. Now, I like being a thought leader. From a personal point of view, I'm always learning, I'm always curious, and I love helping others learn what I've learned. So I can't help it. I'm always going to get really excited about something. I'm going to go down a rabbit hole, dive in deep, and I guarantee I've got a pretty broad base of skills. I can find new ideas, or I can ask new questions that give people new clarity. And by the way, the question mark is my favorite punctuation mark, because if I ask questions, that's how I learn. When I use the period or the exclamation point, it usually means I know everything and I'm done learning. So for me, I am a lifelong learner, and I'm always believing I can improve my insights no matter how much. And just to be clear, I consider myself a high-level expert use of Chat GPT. I'm still trying to learn every day. So if I stop learning, I stop growing, and therefore I start dying. So I'm always looking to learn. So for insight, you want to realize that consistency of presence is the new infrastructure. To lead a transformation, you must have a reliable system for delivering valuable insights to your audience. Now, this is a good time to discuss what I'm going to call the trust deficit. In our modern age, right now in 2025, AI allows pretty much everybody to sound reasonably intelligent without actually having earned the wisdom. So hopefully you've heard me talk about the Dunning-Kruger effect. Short version, novices to something, especially novices who are powered by ChatGPT, overestimate their skills. So they don't know what they don't know. They've learned something new, and they run around telling everybody who will listen how smart they are because they've learned this new thing. Now, on the flip side, with ChatGPT, experts undervalue their expertise because they now know what they don't know. Now, the good news is, as an expert, with a good use of ChatGPT, you can close that gap between what you don't know and what you want to know very quickly. But we are in a trust deficit, and there's going to be a lot of overly confident, undereducated people. And by educated, I mean about a topic, not educated as a judge of character. But there are a lot of people with borrowed wisdom, or quite frankly, stolen wisdom. They've augmented their limited knowledge with ChatGPT. And of course, the problem is ChatGPT is not an expert in things, it's a generalist. It will tell them, oh my God, you're smart, you know everything, and they'll believe it. So we're going to see a lot of nonsense, a lot of noise. It's called AI slop for a reason. And I believe that we are going to need a generation of true leaders to deliver us from the darkness of misinformation and bring us back to true knowledge, wisdom, information. So that's my mandate. That's my mission. I want to build a community of that next generation who are going to lead us back to pure knowledge for the sake of knowledge. So my take on things, assume everything being created by AI right now has an element of hype to it and an element of, let's just call it, inconsistency. And going forward, the thought leaders are going to start to poke holes in those false arguments. We're going to shine a light on the truth. So for clarity, the content automation system that we build, you are the adult in the conversation. You're going to be creating content based on your expertise. So I'm going to show you how to design a simple, repeatable content creation workflow using your black belt systems, our custom GPTs, your custom GPTs, and we're going to help you generate core pieces of thought leadership, and you can distribute it as you see fit. This might include newsletters, might include email lists, it might include online discussions, LinkedIn posts. We're going to show you how to generate consistent thought leadership content based on your ideas, your voice, in under 15 minutes. Now, for the record, that's the creation of it. We still are the adult in the conversation. We need to validate the information. We need to make sure that it is, in fact, true. We have to ensure that we believe it. It must fit into what we understand. We are here. Think of us as the fact finders. If we don't do it, no one else is doing it, and the world just gets dumber on average because everybody believes the AI slop. So we're literally fighting against the demise of the human brain. No pressure. And then for growth, we're going to talk about building an advocate platform. And this is where you will establish a dedicated branded channel. Again, it could be a newsletter, it could be a blog or social media. And here you're going to share your mastery insights, the ones you've gleaned from, not from just about the custom GPT, but about your industry. And we recommend that you publish something weekly for 3 months. Now, this is not as complicated as it sounds. It's not as much work as it sounds. Some of my favorite thought leadership pieces are helping people identify, do they have the problem that you solve? So helping them understand their pain from all angles is huge. So we do things like diagnostics, we ask questions, we give examples, we write case studies, we write testimonials and basically storylines, true storylines, not false. But basically what we're doing in this space is we're helping people identify if they have the problem. So the clearer we get and the more helpful we are with the diagnostic, the next step is helping them understand the solutions to fix it. So I've mentioned this before. I always offer 3 levels of service. There's a done for you, which is these videos you can watch on your own time. There's a done with you, which is our workshops and our live digital dojo where we work together. And then there's a done for you. If you're too busy and you don't want to do it, we can do it for you at a high level. But basically, what I'm doing is educating people every step of the way. Here's your options. Here's why you would do done for you versus done with you versus done for you. I'm educating people on their choices. Now, an interesting thing I want to point out, most people believe that it's a choice between me and a competitor. If somebody's out there shopping actively, they actually believe that it's, will they buy my stuff or someone else's? The reality is we are irrelevant until 2 things are solved. First, status quo, do nothing is the biggest competitor. It will kill more of your deals than anything else because humans are content where they're content. And if they don't have to change, they won't. So first things first, we need to diagnose and help them overcome status quo. We do that by educating them on the problem. How severe is it? How is it impacting them? What's the long-term effects of it? What's the cost of inaction? So there's a lot of content we can create helping people understand what inaction does. Now, the second biggest competitor is not us or our competitors. So the status quo is the first. It kills more deals than anything. The second one is done for you. And I will say this is actually almost an epidemic right now with Chat GPT. A lot of people have enough confidence, overconfidence, misplaced confidence, that they can use Chat GPT to solve their problem. So we need them to recognize, and this is where we can be really helpful. And I say this sincerely, we can show them the cost of trying to do it themselves. And what I do in this space is I will show some common myths that they think they can solve that they probably shouldn't. I like to share mistakes that they are likely to make and how to fix or avoid them. And I also give them best practices. And what I'm doing here is if they're going to do it themselves, at the very least, I can help them so that they don't hurt themselves. Now, if they look at that and go, you know what, actually, it's more work than I thought, I better get you to do it. Great. And then that's where I can get into helping them understand how to buy my service or product, how to work with somebody in my field. And at that point, they're making a decision. Do they want to work with Jeff or someone else? But most marketing assumes that they've already gone past, they're trying to start the conversation at the point where they're buying and looking at option A versus option B. The reality is most people are stuck in, I don't know what I don't know. I don't know if I have the problem. I'm just going to go do something else. So here we're educating people and helping them become knowledgeable consumers of the thing we do. Now we have 2 badges left. And again, this is a relaxed journey. Once you get to double black belt, there's no pressure to go any further. This is a good place to, let's say, settle in and ensure that you're enjoying the view from the top. So the core focus here is we're engaging with and influencing our broader industry. So this is a place, and I truly believe if you want to do something, why not do it well? Why not be a voice in the industry that is impacting the industry as a whole and impacting the industry's impact on the world? So I believe that industry conversation is the new dojo. So this is a big insight. And if we're going to advocate for change, we must engage with the wider world around us, not just our own internal community and our own clients. So this is where expertise can grow. And really, truly, this is where you can add value to your industry. Either you look at it as you're giving back or you're paying it forward. But also you can make more money and have more impact if you're actually shaping the industry you're in. So I look at who trains people in my industry. You know, there's training bodies, there's regulatory bodies, there's conferences, there's events, there's blogs, there's books, there's podcasts, you name it. Be a voice in that space, not just a solo person whispering into the wild. And I love this because if I'm going to attend a conference, I like to be able to speak at the conference so that I'm actually adding value. And by the way, even if you're brand new, you can add value by saying, here's what I, as a brand new person, struggled to learn, and here's how I've learned it. So we can make our industry better just by identifying friction points, knowledge gaps, what have you. And again, I'm not telling you you need to get on stage and speak in front of tens of thousands, but have a small peer group. I used to do this with when I was an accountant. I'd have a small group of accountants that I met with regularly, and we'd meet to figure out how to adopt things, how to change things, how to keep up. So for clarity, you're going to identify what we call the contrarian view. And we look for widely held beliefs about ChatGPT or AI in general in our industry. And now we look to them and then we ask, are they correct or are they incorrect? So, this is again, as an industry, you can bust myths where we know something is fundamentally wrong and we can clearly articulate a well reasoned counter argument. So earlier I talked about busting myths for our clients. We can also do that in our industry. Also, we can identify common mistakes and we can show people how to fix them. And of course, this is where I have the most fun. We can start building best practices. And believe it or not, I can build a workshop or write a book around 3 myths, 3 mistakes, 3 best practices. And what I love about that is I'm genuinely adding value because I'm teaching them 9 unique data points: 3 myths, 3 mistakes, 3 best practices. So ask yourself, what do you wish people in your industry knew, and how can you help them understand it? And for the growth part here, we look for public forums. And again, do what makes sense to you. Do what feels natural. I like to speak on stage. I also like to write. I like to do workshops, webinars, but pick the thing that you're comfortable with and start speaking, presenting, or publishing. Maybe you talk at a conference, you do a guest appearance on podcasts, or you publish articles in your industry journals, things like that. And basically, what you're trying to do is educate people on your thesis or your contrarian view. So here's what I wish people knew. Here's what I understand. Let's discuss. Now, for the record, this is not, when I say contrarian view, we're not going head to head and picking fights with people. If you're in a public mud fight and you're throwing mud at each other, nobody wins. So the idea is you're going to share your views. You're going to share why you have these views. You're going to give the background to back it up. And you're going to allow people to make up their own minds. And honestly, some will follow you, some won't. Really, truly, you can't convince somebody against their will. So wish them well, let them loose, and move on. But honestly, I believe we need more people challenging the status quo. There's a lot of industries where we say, well, that's what we did last year. I'm sorry, but that's not a valid business model. If you don't believe me, ask yourself what happened to the blacksmiths when cars came out. A lot of blacksmiths said, nope, we're not getting rid of the horse and buggy. I'm going to stand by it. The smart ones became mechanics. So you either become obsolete or you evolve with your industry. And by the way, if you're leading the change, people will look to you and pay you to help them go forward. This is our final badge, the attitude badge. And now we're going to talk about respect and consistency. And I really believe this belt at this level, we're not loud. We're not yelling at people. We're not shouting. We're not here to prove that we're smarter than someone else. We have enough respect for ourselves and those around us that we're quietly changing the world without waiting for a parade or for applause or anything like that. So the core focus here is very modest. We are redefining the edge of human potential. And I do this every day. This is my approach. I believe that humanity has the enormous potential to evolve, how we think, how we act, how we interact. And I believe that we can find new ways to change humanity by mastering our own minds, our own skills. And by the way, I also believe you can't really change others until you've mastered yourself. And full disclosure, I spent most of my life, I had a lot of mentors, I read a lot of books. I believe that inner peace, believe it or not, was somewhere out there. I spent most of my life chasing it. And then one day I found it and I slapped myself on the forehead and went, oops. I realized, and it sounds obvious in the name, but inner peace can only be found inside ourselves. And that was a big aha because I was looking to other people. I was looking to mentors, to gurus. You might be looking for someone to help you solve a problem. What I realized is once I learned to look inside, and I use Chat GPT for a lot of inner reflection and inner work, the more we understand ourselves, the more we can help others understand themselves. So believe it or not, my quest to master Chat GPT actually helped me master how I think. It's made me think clearer, sharper, and it's also made me understand myself better. So the insight here is we will develop ultimate humility. And for me, that was exciting to realize that the journey never ends. It's always about what else can I learn. So I said this at the beginning, I will restate it. Our double black belt is not a finish line. It's a recommitment to continuous learning and ethical leadership. So for clarity, we're going to look at our own ethical forecast. And basically, I want all of our black belts and double black belts to be able to articulate the single biggest ethical challenge that AI will present in their industry in the next 12 months and propose a specific advocacy action plan to address it. So again, we're not wringing our hands saying, woe is me, there's something coming. We're looking to the future saying, can we predict it? And if so, can we make it better? So you might want to create a proposal, an awareness campaign. There are always warning signs of a problem coming. My particular problem that I see is in the AI field. There's a trust deficit. And really, truly, until people start to address that, we're going to see, and I kind of like the idea, online social media groups and communities are going to become toxic waste dumps. You're going to see feeds on social media degrade to the point where it's literally my AI is posting for the sake of your AI, no human actually engages. So a lot of what I do is helping humans cut through the noise and find the people they need in their lives to have actual meaningful conversations. So long story short, with the advent of social media, we have never been more connected as human beings. Sorry, let me rephrase that. We've never had the potential to be more connected than we have today. However, because of the devices and the algorithms, I would say we've never been further apart. Now, the advantage, and this is where I get excited, if we can bring human to human interaction back, people will start to turn their back on the algorithms and start having real, genuine, authentic conversations. So there's a dark side to AI as well as to social media. And I believe there's an opportunity hidden in there. And for what it's worth, I'm already seeing this. I have friends that we no longer spend, instead of spending time on social media, we're having conversations with each other. And I would encourage you to do the same. And then finally, in the growth stage, we have what we call the recommitment ritual. And this is where we mentor apprentices as defined in our mindset growth through their major breakthroughs. Now, I said first here to be clear, first of many, I hope. Truly, I don't know a greater joy than mentoring others and helping them understand what I know. But we're going to mentor others and we're going to commit to sustaining our thought leadership program for at least 3 months. And again, this is about giving back and about adding value and quite frankly, about taking away noise. So we're officially going to embody the role of empowered advocate. And again, I will let you choose the path. You can decide who you mentor, who you advocate for. Me personally, I like to help my clients and I like to help my peers. Now, final thought, and I want you to leave with this. I built the Pharos Digital Dojo because I'm a father of two brilliant kids. And in the educational system, the approach is AI is evil, don't use it. To me, that's unacceptable. I refuse to accept that my kids will miss the greatest learning opportunities available in our time because the school system doesn't have the time to figure out how do we make it responsible. So I built this dojo as a legacy for my boys. And as I was building it, I realized that I could help others. So if you like what you've seen, bring others to the party. Let's have a conversation. And if you want to join the Digital Dojo, visit pharosbusiness.com/digital-dojo. Thank you.